All right, today we're diving deep into the world of ethical hacking. We're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how security pros find the cracks in our digital world, not to cause chaos, but to help us build stronger walls. So let's get right into it.
You know, the digital services we all rely on every day, think transportation, healthcare, they're not always as locked down as we'd hope. I mean, just take a look at this recent study of government websites in Bangladesh. The findings are pretty eye-opening. And this isn't some theoretical problem. We're talking about real services and really sensitive citizen data being left exposed. And the scale of this? It's just staggering. In that one study, the transportation sector alone had 60 documented vulnerabilities. 60. Just let that sink in for a moment. That's 60 potential doors left unlocked on systems that manage things like vehicle registrations for millions of people. And this really brings us to a crucial, kind of scary point. Our digital world is incredibly vulnerable. The websites and apps we use for banking, for healthcare, for all sorts of government services, they're constantly being tested by attackers. Understanding these vulnerabilities, that's the absolute first step to securing them.
So, what are the most common weak spots? Well, what's fascinating here is that security misconfiguration is number one. Honestly, this is like leaving the back door of your house unlocked just because you forgot to change the default password on the lock. Next up is sensitive data exposure, which can be something as simple as not encrypting data correctly. And using components with known vulnerabilities? That's basically like building a brand new car with parts you already know have been recalled. These are the low-hanging fruit for attackers.
Okay, so how does an ethical hacker even start to find these flaws? Well, it all begins with something called reconnaissance. This is the information gathering phase. You're basically a detective, learning everything you can about a target without directly poking at it. And one of the most powerful and surprisingly simple tools for this is something called Google dorking. And no, this isn't just about clumsy searching. It's a way of using Google's own advanced search commands to find stuff that's not supposed to be public. Things like hidden files, secret login pages, or exposed bits of sensitive information. And this table shows you exactly how it works. It's brilliant. For example, if you combine file type PDF with site somecompany.com, you might just stumble upon sensitive internal reports. Or if you search for in-URL login, you can discover hidden administrator portals. It's an unbelievably effective way to map out a target's digital footprint before you do anything else.
So after all that passive snooping, it's time to get a little more hands-on. And for that, ethical hackers use specialized tools. One of the most essential is called Burp Suite, which is pretty much the Swiss Army knife for testing web applications.
Here's a great way to think about it. Your web browser is a waiter, and the website server is the kitchen. Normally, the waiter takes your order straight to the kitchen, but Burp Suite sits right in the middle. It intercepts that order slip, letting you read it, change it, and then send the modified version on its way. So you could change your order from a side salad to a giant steak, and the kitchen would never know the difference. And this is exactly how that process flows. Your browser sends out a request. Wham! Burp Suite catches it before it gets to the server. The hacker can then tamper with literally any part of it, user IDs, prices, permissions, before sending that altered request along. This is where the real fun and the real testing begins.
So, with the right mindset and the right tools, what exactly are these hackers hunting for? Let's look at some of the most critical and, frankly, common types of digital flaws they're trying to find.
Let's start with a total classic, path traversal. So imagine a website that lets you download a public file, right? A normal, harmless request from your computer asks for a specific file in a specific folder. Simple enough. But here's the trick. An attacker can manipulate that request. Using that little // sequence you see here, they can try to walk up and out of that public folder, trying to get access to other, much more sensitive parts of the server. And what are they looking for? Oh, you know, just the crown jewels. They're hunting for files with user account info, secret application keys, or even the source code for the website itself. Getting their hands on these is a massive step towards a full system takeover.
Another huge category of vulnerabilities is called privilege escalation. This comes in two main flavors. You've got vertical, which is when a regular user finds a way to become a super user or an administrator. Then there's horizontal, where a user manages to get access to the account of another user who has the same level of permissions. Both are incredibly dangerous. So how do they actually do this? Well, they might exploit predictable user IDs in a URL to see someone else's data. Or maybe they find a way to simply change a parameter in their request from role equals user to role equals admin. They could even hijack someone else's active login session. If the server just blindly trusts these inputs without checking, poof! The attacker has just given themselves a major promotion.
Now, after hearing about all these pretty powerful techniques, a really important question probably pops into your head. How on earth can someone learn and practice these skills without, breaking the law or causing some serious damage?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The answer is all about controlled environments, digital sandboxes that were specifically designed for this exact purpose.
And the great news is, there's this whole thriving ecosystem of what are often called Capture the Flag or CTF platforms. Here are just a few of the most popular ones. They all provide intentionally vulnerable machines that let you test your skills and get better, all in a completely safe and legal way.
And these aren't just solo missions. As this user on Reddit points out, they have these incredibly vibrant communities where people share what they know, help each other out, and learn together. It's really that collaborative spirit that's building the next generation of cyber defenders.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Learning to think like an attacker is the single best way to become a great defender. Every single vulnerability you learn how to exploit is one you can then learn how to fix, making the web just a little bit safer for all of us.
So we end up with this question. In a world that pretty much runs entirely on software, the people who understand its deepest flaws, well, they hold a really unique kind of power. The journey of an ethical hacker is about choosing to use that power, not to break in, but to show everyone else where we need stronger locks. Thanks for tuning in.